Hello friends, welcome to my channel DIY Jugadu. Few days back I had posted a video of replacing the fuel petcock in a Hero Honda bike. If you have not seen the video, I will provide the link of the video in the description of this video. In this video, I will show you how the fuel petcock of a bike works. This will be useful because when you are replacing the fuel petcock or working on the fuel petcock, you will know how it actually works. So if you have seen the last video, then you will know this is the damaged fuel petcock or the reserve switch as it is popularly called, which I replaced in the old bike. First, this is the fuel petcock. As you can see, this is the switch. It has three positions. Here the fuel is on. You can see it, on is written. Here the fuel is on reserve, and here the fuel is off. So what happens is that from this is attached at the bottom of the fuel tank of the bike. The fuel enters the fuel petcock from here, and then it goes out from here. Coming in from here, it goes out from here and enters the carburetor, where the actual combustion takes place and the engine runs. Now, what is the basic purpose of the fuel petcock is to regulate the flow of fuel. When the bike is not used for a long time, you can switch off the fuel petcock. No fuel will come out from here or go into the carburetor. But when the bike is running, then you can put the fuel petcock switch either in on position or in reserve position depending on the fuel quantity. Now how it will work is that there are normally one pipe or two pipes attached to a fuel petcock. As you can see, there are two openings. One is the central hole and another is the semicircular opening on the side of the central hole. The central hole is for the on position of the reserve switch, and the side semicircular opening is for the reserve position of the fuel petcock. When you turn this switch to the reserve position, then fuel will not enter from the top pipe. Fuel will enter from this semicircular hole. In this way, the flow of fuel depending on the level of fuel in the fuel tank is maintained in the bike. So when the switch is in on position, fuel is entering through this pipe, through the central hole. If the fuel is still this level, it will enter through this pipe. When the fuel falls below this particular pipe, then the bike is in reserve position. In that case, you will have to move the switch to this position. Then fuel will start entering from the semicircular hole. It will not enter through this pipe, it will enter through the semicircular hole. As it is at the bottom, so whatever be the height of fuel, it will keep entering from here. Till there is any fuel in the fuel tank, it will enter from here. And when you move it to the off position, fuel will not enter from any of this pipe. So no fuel will flow from the fuel tank to the carburetor. So the engine will not. So whenever the bike is not in use for a long time, it is recommended that you always put it in the off position. In that case, no extra fuel will be there in the carburetor and there will be no loss of fuel. Entire fuel will be stopped in the fuel tank. Now if you have seen my video of replacing the fuel petcock, you must have seen that it is very simple. I'll tell you again. The fuel petcock is attached to the fuel tank with this particular bolt. It will attach to the opening on the bottom of the fuel tank, and you just have to tighten this bolt and it will fix there. Then you can regulate the flow of fuel using the switch. It is very simple. And this particular pipe, there is a rubber pipe attached to it. You can open it and close it and tighten it anytime. So this is the working of the fuel petcock. Now I will demonstrate the internal working of the fuel petcock. See, here is a small chamber at the bottom. The purpose of this chamber is that any impurity or rust, mainly rust, because the internal portion of the fuel tank get rusted. If rust flows in from here, it is heavy. It will come down from this hole and get stored in this chamber. This can be periodically opened. This chamber can be periodically opened and cleaned. So rust will flow out of this chamber and flow out of this opening and store in this chamber, and fuel will go in from here. Now, to replicate the working of this fuel petcock and show how fuel flows, I have taken water. Now first I'll put it in off position and show that I'll put water through the hole. See, the entire water is flowing out from here. No water came out from this pipe. So at off position, fuel will not flow from here. Now I am putting the fuel petcock in on position, and I will push water through the central hole. Through the central hole. See, fuel is now coming out from the main pipe, and the fuel will come in from the central hole and go to the carburetor if the fuel petcock is in on position. Now I put the fuel petcock in reserve position and again push water through the central hole. See, water is not flowing out from here because the reserve petcock is in reserve position. So fuel is not coming out from the central hole. Fuel is not going in from the central hole and coming out from here. Now what I'll do, I'll push water through the side semicircular hole. See, fuel is coming out from the main pipe because the fuel petcock is now in reserve position. So this is the working of the fuel petcock. When it is in on position, fuel will enter through the central hole and through this pipe. When it is in reserve position, fuel will enter through the bottom semicircular hole and not with this pipe. And when it is in off position, fuel will not enter the carburetor through the fuel tank. So now you know that how the fuel flows from the fuel tank to the carburetor of the bike. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.